All right. Hello. Hello. John so through.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Give it a few minutes for people to tune in. How's everybody doing tonight? As always, go ahead and check in. We like to know who's tuning in. State, wherever you're from, country as well. I know we've got people from France, people from New Zealand, Australia, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, all over the world. So it's always fun to see who's tuning in.
This is weird. We're on a Monday. We're usually on a Friday. I feel like this is weird because I don't usually get to see you until Friday.
We've had some Mondays before.
It's been a while. That was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we just switch over to Fridays.
But as a Monday, it was weird. It was really bizarre.
It's our only time together. Y'all can't tell. We barely have time together, and so this is usually when we get together and talk.
Maybe I'll get to see him on Saturday, Friday night, Friday night after this.
Yeah, tune in. Let us know who's on. Just get a couple minutes for people to tune in here, and then we're going to get started. Interesting topic that we have tonight. I do feel a little bit apprehensive moving into this conversation, to be honest.
What?
Because
you start it like that?
Because it's an interesting topic to have.
Accusations already? Is that what it is?
No, not accusations. No. Just saying there's some apprehensiveness.
I'm not sure if I would have used that as
Micah Young,
but okay.
From Minneapolis. I mean, when you talk about the D word, there's always some things that may come up, you know.
I suppose.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about the apprehensiveness.
Hello, Cooter Cha, Nyajong. You go night-night? Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in before going night-night. Yo, what up, Paul?
Oh, Paul, happy anniversary.
Man?
I just saw.
I know, happy anniversary to you and Kim. Man. We're doing all right, man. We're hanging in there.
It's nice to hear from you guys. I always realize that it's like bedtime for a lot of people, you know, across the East Coast.
I know, because we're on the West Coast, so 6:39 for us. But I bet
we debated about going earlier, but I don't know. I don't know if we would have been able to do that. So
no, I think this works out well.
Apologies to you East Coast people who are not night owls.
How many years has it been for you both? I forgot. I saw the posting, but I didn't see how many years.
Oh my goodness.
Last time we talked, you guys were like pretty close to us. Like what?
12.
Was it 12, 13 years?
It's your 13th year. 13-year anniversary, Paul. I'm pretty sure. Please tell me I'm right. 13.
Let's see what Paul says here.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm going to say 14-year anniversary.
It's been 12.
Oh, okay.
I'm closer. That's how usually it works.
What did you say, 13? All right.
Well, fine. I knew it was 12 years,
but
I thought it was the 13th year.
All right. Kayima. All right. 6:39. How about we get started here? Let me just quickly make sure everything's running here. We're good.
Okay.
All right. You got your line ready?
I never get my line ready.
I should say.
Uh-huh.
I think we can turn off this banner real quick here.
Stop stalling. You're trying to remember your lines. I already know it.
Oh, no. I got these lines memorized like the back of my hand. You know what I'm saying?
Just tell everyone the truth.
All right. Let's get started. Got your lines ready? I'm doing my eyes closed.
Okay. Do it.
Welcome to the Main Course Podcast.
Where we have an extensive menu of all things relationships.
And the best part is,
you as listeners bring life's ingredients as we cook up real conversations.
Well, stick around for a bite and you might just get some tea.
What a show off.
Come on, man. All right. Anyways,
show off.
Welcome to episode 13, where we talk about the D word. The title of tonight's episode is Why We Wanted a Divorce. This wasn't the easiest, I guess, place to navigate for us when it did happen. But I think it's also an important topic to have. I think it's one that doesn't get discussed much because there's a lot that happens.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of taboo, a lot of stigma around it. So I think it's hard to have the conversation, and especially it's hard to have the conversation because it brings up so much maybe pain or memories when talking about it. And unless you've healed, not completely healed, but to a point where you can actually revisit it and not get stuck in it, I think you won't be able to have the conversation. So I wouldn't say that, at least I'll speak for myself. I'm not completely healed. I think I still get triggered by it a lot, but I think it's at a point where I'm able to revisit it. and still walk away feeling grounded. So, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, that's news to me.
What is
that you're not completely healed from it?
Tell me more.
I guess not exposing that part of yourself very effortlessly.
What are some examples?
That I'm still oblivious to it.
We
still do life, and it doesn't come up very often. I guess that regardless of what our problems are, we are able to talk through them. Even now, we're still able to get through any of our disagreements. But to hear you say that you're not fully healed from it, that's new to me, actually. That's interesting to hear. Because then it feels like you could carry package, right?
Well, like, I'm glad you said that.
You kind of use it as an anchor for maybe dark days. I don't know why there wouldn't be what is considered fully healed. I don't know. Maybe that's subjective.
I think you hit a nail right there. And I think that's what we're going to talk about here is healing from the past experiences in your trauma, healing from things that led up to wanting the divorce. And so let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll come back to this conversation as we dive into it here. We know that there's a lot of folks tuning in who have been here with us and who are new to the show. And so if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to the show, we are glad you're here with us. If you haven't been with us before, what we generally do is we talk about, of course, the topic itself. And what we also really enjoy is having interactions with you as listeners, as our opening little spew here. You bring the ingredients and then we cook up the conversation. And so your interaction also allows us to dive deeper into this topic. And your questions also allow us to move and navigate in this space and find places to discuss that might provide you with answers and healing for yourself too. So,
and we're processing it all together.
Yeah, always
as a community.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions. So, hello, Ganu from Minnesota. Oh yeah, that was a fun that was a fun shoot. We're not models by any means, but it was fun. Bro, you put on something perfectly. Thanks for the shout out. Oh yeah, of course. Trying to. What's up, GZ? Hello, Nyajong. Chuma win or lose. It's equal. Yeah, no winning. If one person wins, then you both lose.
There's right and less right.
Some people know our background in our history, and some people know how long we've been married, and you've followed us and you've heard our conversations. But there are some people who haven't listened or tuned in before, or maybe this is your first time tuning in. And so we just want to give a little bit of background so that people understand what we've been through, how long we've been married. I think if you want to know that part too, before we dive into some of the areas that created challenges and left us wondering, is divorce the ultimate decision here? So you can go back. How about you start? How did we meet?
How did we meet? Oh, how did we meet? We met in the most Korean drama way that you could possibly think of. We were best friends. We were 12-ish. I think we were freshly 12 years old when we were 7th grade. He moved up from California.
6th grade.
6th grade? Why do you always say that?
Because it was 6th grade.
I wasn't there in 6th grade.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
6th grade?
I can go to your book. We can shake on it right now. Everyone can see. Okay.
All right.
I'm always right. He's always less right.
Betting.
Okay. So anyways, we met at a very young age. We became best friends. I introduced him to, whatever girl it was that he really liked. And then, we were still best friends all the way through junior, senior year of high school. And never really thought we would ever date. It was like,
You would want to see that yearbook picture. See, she wants to shake on it and she's going to pull the yearbook and then we're going to show all of you how we
I had
looked
Coke bottles as glasses and I'm pretty sure I had a slick back hair and I was like a super tomboy.
Never in this
I never wore makeup.
You would have thought that these two people would get together.
Never in a million years. Well, I was super, super best friend only. Like we were.
Yeah, I think you're pretty cool.
We were like ride and die best friends. And then, high school happened and then people change, people develop. I became more girly. I think that changed the dynamics of our friendship a little bit. As everyone knows, hormones change. People change, dynamics change. And then, yeah, we just ended up together at that point because we matured as different people and wanted different things than what we thought we knew we would want in our friendship.
Yeah. Long story short, we knew I moved from Fresno, California to
Fresno.
I moved from Fresno to St. Paul in 1996. And 1996 was what grade?
1996.
Yeah.
It was 6th grade for you.
You weren't there in 6th grade?
No.
Yeah, you were.
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. You are correct.
Oh,
because you went to in elementary school.
Exactly.
You went to an elementary school where your grades went up. Okay, 6th grade. You're right.
You digress.
I was just thinking about what did we shake on, but I don't think we said anything. So we'll keep moving here. So we've known each other since 1997, and just think about how many years. I think we were what at that time we were about 12 years old.
Yeah, a little bit over 20.
12 years old. So we were pretty young. We were friends at that time. We didn't start dating until high school. So we had to be about 15 years old in high school. So we dated back in high school since we were 15 years old. And then we didn't get married until 2007. So we were about 21. 21 at the time. So, and then now we are what? 40 years old. So we're old, man.
Yes, we're old now.
So that just kind of, not without going to the details. That's how long we've known each other, how long we've dated, and then how long we've been married. So, when we got married, we were 21 years old. We just graduated from
our undergrad
college. 4 years bachelor's degree, and then we decided to get married, and that was
in itself
an interesting moment. Again,
that's another episode in itself.
That's another interesting
the wedding
moment.
Day. Woo.
Yeah. Woo. I think in previous episodes we talked about some of the struggles that led up to that as well, of course.
So the wedding almost didn't happen.
The wedding almost got called off.
Walked out. Yes.
So a lot of challenges there too. Almost got called off. And then, we got married at age 21. And then we traveled for a little bit. We explored
for like 3 years.
Yeah, for a few years. And then things were good. I would say things were good. There wasn't a whole lot of challenges, I would think, at that time that would even make us think about wanting divorce. I think it was a fun time. It was lovey-dovey, of course, as usual.
Like a honeymoon
phase. People always talk about that. And as far as I remember, I don't think the challenges started presenting themselves until we were going to have a baby. At least that's what I remember. So
until responsibilities became apparent. I think that's the best way to describe it, because even in our marriage, in our gender roles, we didn't really have gender roles. I did live with his family, but his parents were wonderful people. So there wasn't like a tug of war that we had, within the family in itself,
high expectations and things like that.
We were still going to school. I went back and got my master's. So even though we were married, I still had the challenges of trying to balance working and going to school, all of that. And I decided to do all of that in addition to having a child. And then he was navigating his career path, what he wanted to do with his life. And that didn't really affect me until we finally had a baby.
Yeah, even coming from like a cultural lens within the Hmong culture, I think a lot of people that I talk to, they talk about the struggle of living with the in-laws, and then, of course, the mother-in-law story, where the mother-in-law is very demanding, very high standard, and so the expectations, they just overwhelm the yang usually, and so it creates a lot of challenging dynamics within the household. But you're right. I think for us, I don't remember that experience. I mean, I'm sure it existed, of course, but it wasn't to the point where it felt debilitating.
It took a toll, on our marriage.
Yeah, so
not necessarily.
I think I do remember. I agree with you that Yeah, mom and dad, they were very encouraging of us going to school. They knew we were young. We had just graduated, but we were aspiring to seek higher education, and we had really high expectations for ourselves to seek different career paths and whatnot. So I do remember mom and dad was just very encouraging, like, hey, you both got married and you're here. We're here to support you. Go to school. Yep. But there's a but. You got to have kids.
Yes.
And I think that was, I do remember that part where you should have kids now. And they had good reasons for encouraging us to have kids, because my parents were young, and then they were saying, when you have kids right now, you're both still young. We're young. We can take care of the kids. You can go to school, get what you need to get done. And then by the time you're done, your kids will be grown. We're like, heck yeah, sounds like a pretty good deal. So
whatever they said, it's sold it. We're like,
yeah, why not? I mean,
let's do it.
By the time we're done with our school,
and we popped out 4 kids.
Career's done or career started, then we have grown kids already.
Yeah. So for you folks that don't know, we have 2 boys and 2 girls, and our oldest is already almost 16 in April, and then our youngest is already 11. Calvin keeps saying 10 when we go to the buffet, and then she'll be like, I'm 11.
Hey, discount. So yeah, I think the challenges didn't really start until we were going to have our first child. And I do remember that's when things started to get kind of dicey for the both of us.
Yes.
At least for me, what I remember was around that time, I still wanted to play. I think that was a part that, when I think back to it, man, I feel bad for the things I did and leaving you.
You better feel bad.
Yeah, I feel really bad. I feel bad and I feel regretful, because I think I could have done a better job, of course. But then again, it's the past, and I was young, dumb, and full of stuff.
Full of it.
Yeah.
Yes, full of it.
So, yeah, I do remember when you were pregnant, I was still the bachelor. Like, I want to get out, have fun, go out drinking, hanging out with the guys, and going to different places, to the club, bars. Come back home tipsy, drunk. And I just remember at that time, you didn't even do any of that. If anything, you weren't even.
I wasn't even really drinking.
Yeah, I don't think that was your thing at that time.
No.
But I still just wanted to have fun, and I think I was still, I don't know. Maybe it's hard to remember, but
for lost time.
Yeah, I think it was making up, and I think another part was knowing that when we have a child, I'm going to be anchored, and so if I'm going to have a child, I need to have my fun now before we have a child.
There's that mentality.
And then I can't go out anymore. So I think I was wrestling with that. There was a transitional period that's happening, and I was wrestling with that, and I wanted to go out and have fun, enjoy life. Like people always say, hey, live life to the fullest and do it now and whatnot. And I think I took that by the reins and I ran with it. And I think that really shook things up, especially for you, because I remember clearly that one time you sent me a text. Do you remember this? You sent me a text and you were like, I'm going to go into labor or something like that.
Yes. I was trying to get him to come.
Yeah. And I think that wasn't like true, of course, but I think it was just a way to wake me up. Like, I'm going to go, and kind of a test, almost like testing me to see if I will come back. And I remember getting that. And
the lies that we would tell each other.
Oh yeah. Horrible people.
Now that you said that, I was like,
horrible people.
I did lie.
Oh yeah. You did
lie.
And for some reason, I remember you didn't care. Somehow I knew you were lying, though. It was so weird. I knew you were lying, so that I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
That was really where we were at in our relationship, though, because like a little bit before that, we had miscarried our first child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think there was still some resentment and some bitterness towards you, because I felt like you moved on and you didn't grieve with me.
Yeah.
I was still grieving, even though I was carrying, what I considered like a miracle child, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to carry another child after the first miscarriage. And there's a lot of pressure, of course, after you have a miscarriage that comes upon a woman, feeling inadequate, feeling like it was your fault. You replay all the potential, possibilities of what you could have done to prevent it, etc. And even when you are given a chance to have the ability to carry another child, you're just like, I better not ruin this, or else I'm going to have this track record of being that now that just can't give him children, and then they're going to encourage him to find someone else. There was a lot of things that was really still replaying in my head at that moment and at that time. So when I'm already like very much into my second or third term, at like 8-9 months, I was still very resentful of you because you've kind of moved on and become this person where you felt like you needed to go out and, I don't know, celebrate your baby time, for now at least. And I think because of that, I already started to build a lot of not just resentment and bitterness, but there was jealousy. There was a lot of envy because you didn't have to do what I had to do, carry this child. I had a lot of remorse, that's for sure. I would even maybe go as far as calling it as it was like unfair. Like I was starting to feel like this is not fair.
Yeah, I think that fits with my experience.
I was starting to be like, what? Why me here and why you over there? This doesn't make any sense. And what was even more astounding to me was you go unscathed and unpenalized, and you come back with no repercussions for your actions. That was what made me the most angry, because everyone here knows it. If it was a woman that was doing that, it was the young that was going out and doing that stuff. Oh yeah,
you would get scolded.
You would get scolded. Your parents would hear about it, all of those things, but not you as the wow in the sun. And so I think that was where I was already starting to build up a case for how much I already hate you. That's for sure. Like, and that was like it was only like year 3, year 4 of our marriage. Where we were already building up our towers against each other.
Yeah, I think we traveled for about 2.5 years, and then the miscarriage. We talked about this in previous episode too, about that process and what that was like, and we dove into just the different ways that we grieved, the different ways that we processed, and I think for me at that time, as I'm talking about going out with the guys, I think a part of it was my grieving as well. Part of it was just trying to bury it, put it away.
Interesting.
And I think from your perspective, it just seemed like I'm out having fun. But I would say, at that time, I think I was grieving too.
Grieving.
Yeah, I was putting things away, trying to shove things down so that I wasn't dealing with a whole lot. And I don't think we ever processed it. We just kind of moved on. And so, part of it was me wanting to, enjoy the bachelor life before things got serious. And then part of it too was, still trying to move past or heal from that experience of the miscarriage. So, but overall, I agree with you. I think at that time I kind of went out without maybe even like any consideration about how that would affect you. I think I just kind of went out, did my own thing.
Second thoughts.
No, I didn't care.
Never checked in with me.
I didn't care. Nope, I was gone.
Yep. And
when I'm gone, I go and come back.
Might not even come home until the next morning. Somebody may or may not drop him off. I may have to pick him up the next day. I don't know.
Yep. I was gone.
Whatever it was like I was alone. I was definitely alone. And what's the craziest thing is I never went out of my way to tarnish your name or to drag you, your name through the mud or anything like that. I never went out of my way to do any of that, and I actually just waited it out.
Why didn't you? Why didn't you? Yeah. Why didn't you drag
my name? To be honest with you, I was embarrassed. Why would I want to drag a name through the mud? Because it was actually that it was my own husband. It's embarrassing to call you my husband if that was the case, that you were this drunk. Why would I go out and spread and defame you in this way? Because I'm connected to you. Then there was this like, oh yeah, their marriage is probably going to fall apart because he's always out doing this and that. He's doing whatever God's name it is that he's out and about. And I think, to me, I didn't really want it to tarnish our marriage overall. I don't know if I had faith in it at that time, but I'll have to say it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it to backstab you in that way, because honestly, I didn't really think that it would go very far. I don't think I really had that circle to do that with. I didn't have a group of girlfriends be like, he's such a freaking dirtbag, this and that. I didn't really have, that circle to do that with. But even then, I'm pretty sure being 7, 8, 9 months pregnant, it would have brought me no joy.
No, it wouldn't. But you know, as I'm thinking about this, we didn't talk about this in the last previous episode, but I also wondered, as you're talking, you're ruining and tarnishing maybe the marriage itself. Mm-hmm. I also wonder, I mean, you can speak to it. I'm just curious, but if there was also a part of you that didn't want to do that, because I know this happens a lot, especially within the Hmong culture too, in the community. It happens not all the time, but more often than not, where if you can't conceive a child for me, then the message that gets spread around is, it's
my fault.
It's your fault. Yeah. You're incompetent. Your body's not prepared for giving birth. And so it's your fault. And so I wonder if a part of that too is maybe you didn't want people to start thinking that it was your fault, that you're the reason why I'm going out trying to find something outside of the marriage.
Well, I mean, that was the thing too. I don't want the narrative to be turned around to me saying that it's because of me that you're out. It's always that for some reason, right? If you're out and about causing a ruckus and it's almost like, oh, he's out here because of her. It's probably because she's driving him out of the house. You know, it's usually like that's the narrative. That's like the immediate consensus that everyone has. It's not because he's a jerk or he doesn't know how to treat his woman. It's never really like that. Not even in the Hmong culture. It's always
the woman's fault.
It's always the woman's fault.
In some ways, yeah.
Yep. In many ways, actually. In many ways it is, because we have yet to even stop, even right now. And like, that was like in 2009. It's 2025. Still the same. You know, the dynamics of the conversations are still exactly the same. We don't really shed light yet on that. And that is something that, you know, eventually we should talk about as well. But at that time, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. And honestly, again, you know, you're already like so sleepless and you're so exhausted physically that I don't think I had any mental energy to fuel another fight or another need to pour into that. Like, I don't even have the energy to do it. And you're pregnant.
And I think that's where, you know, that's where the problem started to slowly creep up. But I think what doesn't really get talked about as much is that when the problems started to unfold and we knew the problems were there, what really made it challenging and what really added fuel to the fire that we're trying to avoid is we know there's a problem, but we didn't come to talk about it. Like, these problems were never discussed. And so even though you had your own thing going on, I never checked in with you. I had my own things going on. You never checked in with me. So we just kind of pretended like as if things were, I guess, okay, you know, shoving it under the rug. And then,
I mean, if he wasn't dead and he came back.
Yeah.
Like, I was like
I come back home and,
you're back.
She's well, she's walking around and baby looks fine in her. Then I'm like, all right, I'm good to go again. So I'm off doing my own thing. She's doing her own thing. But we knew that there was something there. There was always a lot of tension. But we were just pretending like as if the tension didn't exist. But, you know, I think that's the part that started, I guess that's where the, you know, talk about like the cracks within the marriage. That's where it started to happen, where the cracks started to appear within the foundation, but we just kept putting rugs over the cracks. And so when we had our first child, I think that's when the cracks started to widen even more.
Right.
At least from my experience, because when we had our first child, of course, like anytime you know two people, they have a child together, they're excited, they're happy, they want the world for the child, so they do the best they can. And so I do remember at that time we were trying to do our best we can for our child. And while we were doing that, the part that I would say that contributed to a lot of the issues leading to the divorce was that we didn't invest any time into ourselves. As within the marriage, separately or within the marriage itself.
No,
I do remember
it was like 1,000% of the time for the baby.
At that time, like I just remember all we did was we just focused on the baby. Your shift to feed, your shift to wake up, my shift to feed, my shift to wake up. You can sleep, and so we were just kind of revolving around the baby's time. And then when I wanted to have my own time to go out, I think that really ticked you off because you're like, "Why are you going out?" And then when you went out, I'm like, "Why are you going out?" So there's just a lot of blame game happening pointing fingers like, well, you should be home. Well, I've been doing this.
There's dishes to do, right? So
I've been at work all day. I come back home and you want me to do this. So a lot of blame game happening.
It started a tally actually very quickly.
Long list of tally. And so I just remember like that was like the core of our arguments is, why are you not home? When you're home, why aren't you doing this? Why are you going out when you were doing this? No, and I think a lot of times
as a partner,
even when we saw each other, I think it was just more like questioning and investigating. Like, why is your time not devoted here?
Oh my gosh,
why are you going out?
We would account for the second.
Oh, horrible.
Like, okay, how long has he been watching this game? And then, okay, now he's in the next game, and at that time, I think we actually did pay for cable or whatever. And we're both like invested in whatever else outside of each other into anything but communicating or talking. I don't think we even had, cordial conversations at all. I don't even think I remember barely cooking for you. I mean, you here and there.
You did, but it wasn't like you made it from the heart. It was just more like kind of like, I'm your wife. I'm gonna make it, so that people don't come over and think that I'm a bad wife. So you were actually looking out for yourself, essentially.
No, we were always looking out for ourselves.
Oh yeah.
At all times. It was
never a relational thing.
So on top of all this, we both had careers that we were trying to also navigate through. I was going through my master's program when I was having our first child, beginning it, and then at the end of it, I ended up pregnant again.
Yeah, baby number 2.
So during my actual last year, so I'm already in my second year of my master's program. At the end of that was when I was already going to probably have our second child. So now we have this toddler, and now I'm pregnant again, right? And so the tension and the time, I'm going to school and I'm going to work full time as well, and we're trying to take care of 2 kids and pay for everything. Like we weren't living with your parents at all. We weren't living with anyone at the time, not quite yet.
No, you were still pregnant with baby number 2, and that's when something started to happen too. Actually, baby number 2. I think when you were pregnant with baby number 2, we were transitioning from our mobile home. We actually had a mobile home. We lived in a mobile home, and we bought a mobile home for our very first home. And we had baby number 1. And then when baby number 2 was on the way, I think you were in your 3rd trimester. You just started 3rd trimester, and then we decided to move from the mobile home to the apartments.
Yes.
So that was a horrible move, by the way.
It's like
I don't know who suggested it.
Oh, me.
But
totally
anyways,
because I always wanted to make things
always wanting more
us.
things, more anyways. So we decided to move to this apartment.
I convinced him,
and it was the
horrendous.
Worst move
I never
ever.
realized that moving to an apartment was that much work.
Horrible. Like 3rd floor, it was hard
in the winter. Oh my gosh,
it was bad. Parking was horrible. And we thought that was going to be a good move. Actually, we're a growing family, so we wanted to have a nice place for us.
Yep. It was a really nice place, but
we went there, and I do remember
so much work.
That was during the time where I was still going to school, and I was actually going for PA. Yes. I was going to become a physician's assistant at that time, and I went to take all the courses during that time, all the prereqs. I even did my clinical hours too, so I was working like late. Like
we never really saw him.
Yeah.
And I have a child at the pickup, drop off, and then I don't think we really, as a family, we never came together and sat down and actually have a meal.
We did. No, we were like tired. Yeah. We were just kind of eating quietly. We were spent. I remember I still see the picture. Facebook reminds me still nowadays. I'm sitting at the table and I'm holding Bella, and then I'm doing my work, and she's got something in her mouth and playing, and of course that's the only picture that I have from that place there. But I think that was when we're just kind of trading shifts on and off at that time. We didn't really want to bother mom and dad, and so we were doing that for a while, trying to not drop off the babies as often as we could. But I think that was when things started to distant from us. At least for me, I can speak from experience that was when I started to notice that physically we were closer. We weren't that close because we were working and trading shifts, But I will say emotionally, I think that's when we started to distant, because that's when I still remember that was a time where we were questioning a lot whether or not this is the right move for us, or if this was the right thing for us in our marriage. Because I remember, I talked with you about this before too, and there was one of my classmates, actually. One of my classmates, she was one of those people that was very friendly, very fun to be around, very open as well. And I think at that time I felt so alone that when she and I connected in class, things just kind of things just kind of took off, where I'm like, I know I'm married, I know I have kids, I have one kid on the way, but it just felt like she filled this void that I wanted from you, but you couldn't provide to me. And I just remember at that time, like, I started to like text her about class things, and then sometimes the text would change to be a little bit more than just about class stuff. And I think that really was the point where I started to pull away from you, and I started to pour a little bit more over here. So the cracks, when I was talking earlier, the cracks started to widen during this time. That was a big part, I think, for me. And you also had an experience yourself too, but I'll let you speak to that. I won't speak for you there.
Yeah. So I think already at this point, we're at like year, what, like 5?
This is 5, yeah.
Yeah, it's like year 5 of our marriage into the 6th, that range between like the fifth to like 6 and 7 became probably one of our hardest times, to the point where we're starting to question if we should even be together. Of course, y'all, I don't know why, but we had another kid,
Well, I know why, but I'll let you finish.
Wait, what? There was a reason?
Of course, there's always a reason.
Well, besides the reason that everyone knows how babies are made, but...
Well, quickly, the reason is people usually think that when you have another kid, it solves a lot of your problems.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just say it like that.
It didn't. Well, when you said that there's not a reason, I'm like, there's a reason. There's always a reason for everything.
It sounds like people don't know how the birds and the bees work. No. Okay. Well, anyways, but yeah, so we decided to have another child, thinking that, yes, it would fix things, because I think we had a high and a low point. The high point was like, we can get through this. We can get through this, right? But it was more like, let's not mess up. It was more like that. Like, it's embarrassing. Let's not mess up. It wasn't really out of actual, like, true, love and affection and not wanting to hurt each other. It was really more like for face. Like, I don't want to end up divorced, because
it'd be a bad name for us, for our parents, our family,
blah, blah, blah. And so we actually started to come up with reasons and why we should stay together, just to stay together. Actually, it wasn't out of actual this need for a partner genuinely for life.
No,
it was out of convenience. Actually, we started to have this partnership more like, I need you to kind of just be there.
Convenience for face, reputation.
For reputation, but also for you to, monitor the kids when I'm not monitoring them, because obviously it's a lot of work as even a single parent. So we wouldn't even want that, because it was inconvenient. We don't want, we're like, well, what's worse, right? Being a single parent or being in an convenient relationship. And so it actually got to that point where around like 5, 6, 7, we were starting to allow ourselves to fall into this cycle of, going to work, going to school, taking care of our kids, barely taking care of our kids and feeding them. Your parents were a huge part of our children's lives. And we actually pretty much used your parents as a crutch for not having to parent. Actually, we were intentional about not being present. Actually, I did whatever I could to avoid being a mom, because it was so stressful for me that I would rather just come home and be there when they're about to go to sleep. And I would rather take extra shifts. I'd rather take, additional.
Here, hit this instead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're shaking the mic and
I'm sorry.
Vibrating.
I'd rather work harder. I'd rather do overtime. I was starting to become completely depressed. There's a high chance that I had postpartum depression. I did not actually even try to treat that. Whatever you could possibly think of what was happening, it was definitely happening. We weren't taking care of ourselves, exercising, eating right, or anything like that of that nature. We weren't really trying.
Well, we had no time, and we had no motivation. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And even having the kids, I'm gonna go back to that real quick because I think this is really important for the listeners and for people to understand too, is that when we decided to have another kid, one of the reasons why is that we thought that maybe this would kind of spark things back up again. We've been so low that maybe having the kid would lighten things up again or give us that spark because, when we had our first child, it was an experience like nothing, no other, right? Like you can't even explain how awesome it was. And just the overall, the feelings that came with it, how nice it was for us to come together. We weren't fighting. We were working together. Yep. Yeah. It was very peaceful. And so, it felt nice, and I think that's what we wanted. And then I think we wanted to have another child so we can bring that back. But then that's the trap. The trap is you think that bringing a child to the world will give you that again, but you can't just slap a Band-Aid on something and expect it to get better, right? So that having that second child to us was kind of like slapping a Band-Aid on an issue that hasn't even been resolved yet. And so while that Band-Aid covers it up and you might feel better in that moment, there's something brewing underneath that Band-Aid that, of course, we've been avoiding. And so it's a cover-up, basically, what it was. And I'm putting this out there so that people can also think about things carefully because when you bring a child into the world, it's exciting, but then it comes with responsibilities and it comes with a lot of things, a lot of challenges, because bringing a child to the world requires effort, attention. It requires you to lose sleep. It requires your world to revolve around this child so they can actually live. And so it's going to actually create more, call it chaos if you want, than organization within the home. So I think that was challenging for us.
I think it was most challenging only because we set these expectations for ourselves. Nobody was like, you got to have like 4 kids within like whatever. I did this to myself. I wanted these boxes to be checked by a certain age. I wanted to do all these different things before I was 30. I did this to myself. I wanted to get my master's, get a house, get a car, just doing all the things that was like the American dream, I guess you can say, for lack of better words, because that was the state of mind that we were living in. That's the country that we live in.
Yeah.
And so, we have, by this time, at this point of our marriage, we have 4 kids. And there were 4 kids under the age of 4. Let me say that again. We had 4 kids under the age of 4.
That was what, 2014? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we've skipped.
When I think about that, like, well, might as well just torture ourselves and throw one more in there, right? And so that's what we ended up doing. Another Band-Aid. So, things didn't work out the first time. Band-Aided. We tolerated each other, had another baby, put another Band-Aid over it. And then again, it's like a vicious cycle again, over and over. We had a third baby, put another Band-Aid in it. And then the 4th one, somehow the 4th one, because it was like kind of a near and dear and close pregnancy where I think I almost lost my life. And then you would think, right? You would think that after that, true life partners would be like, we should probably work it out because, I was basically,
heck no.
I was actually losing like so much blood. I was going to die. And then at the end of it, it was more like, well, it's nice that you came back.
Well, I'm
just kidding.
For the record, I was concerned.
He was concerned.
That was like the worst time in my life because I felt helpless in that moment. I feared that I was going to lose you. I was going to lose the baby. The selfish part of me is like, who's going to help me take care of these other kids? All these things.
You better come back.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, that's a humanness in us where there's all these things that you wonder about. But yeah, I think in that moment, I was, to be honest, when you have a bigger problem, this is usually how it works. When you have a bigger problem in front of you, you don't think about the small problems anymore.
That's true.
So I think in that moment, I didn't care about all the crap that we were going through, all the issues that we were having.
Right.
In that moment, my problem was this heartbeat of yours is going down. And I need to make sure that we get the right medical staff and team in here to make sure that you don't die, to make sure the baby doesn't die. And so other problems I didn't care about at that time. I was just more concerned about how do we take care of this right now. Mm-hmm. But of course, after that, we had our baby. The high came back again. I mean, this is the cycle. This is why people want to have kids, because you get that cycle. You get the high and you get the dopamine rush. And we're a family again. We're holding babies and we're loving each other again. And then you fall into this fantasy that things are fine. And then,
we went right back into it. And this time it's like a double dosage, maybe quadruple dosage, because now we have ample amount of things that we were responsible for. So what I do, run from it. I ran so far as I could from it, to the point where I even took promotions so that I would have more limited time to actually be a mother and just say, I'm doing this for you guys. You know, I'm doing this for the family, right? And that was my coping mechanism. Is working. Is actually taking on new projects, to leave, to travel for like 2 weeks on end. I would leave him with 4 kids under 4.
So, you know, when she was saying that she had resentment because I was having the time of my life, this is when she was having her time of her life. And this is where my resentment really started to build.
Yes.
I think this is where I was brewing to the point where I'm like, I could kill you, like, if I wanted to.
Oh my goodness.
Because and when I would come home, my hands and my mind.
Was not with open arms.
Oh, yeah. Think about four kids at age 4 and younger, and you're having to
not open arms
at the same time going to school and all that. Oh, it was not.
Oh yeah, you know, it wasn't like, you know, you were working hard. It was like, you know, I was probably hardly working. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's like that.
Okay, let me tell you a story here. Okay, about what she did and why. When I say I could have killed her.
This is not what the topic is about.
It is because, well, you're talking about having time of your life. So I'm at home with the kids. Mind you, a newborn, newborn. She's gone for 2 weeks.
Newish. She's like 3 months.
What does she do? She calls me while laying on the beach. Enjoying the sun in San Diego.
I was out for training.
While I'm at home. And this was during the polar vortex in Minnesota. So if you live in Minnesota, you remember the polar vortex. That was the worst like snowstorm ever. It was cold. Wind chills were like -50. The snow downpour up 12 inches plus the pipes in our house froze. And so I'm trying to handle all of this while taking care of the kids, going to school, working as well. And she has the audacity to call me on the beach.
Look, guys.
Hey, look it's so beautiful here. What did I want to do?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
But you know, the funniest thing is that even though that was happening, a part of me at that time, I didn't want to show any anger. So, you know, talking about, you know, protecting your image, even though I want to strangle you so bad, there's a part of me that was like, gosh, I need to pretend like I'm happy for you because you had a point. You're providing for the family at that time.
Yeah.
I wasn't working. And so I think that's the tug and pull here, where you talk about being, you know, a man in a relationship. I wasn't providing financially for the family. At that time, the roles were reversed. You were the quote unquote breadwinner making the money while I wasn't making a whole lot of money because I was in school. And so the roles were reversed, where I became the caretaker and you became the person who worked outside of the home.
I felt entitled.
Yes, you were very entitled actually. And hence why I want to strangle you again before. But then that's besides the point here. So I think that was a wrestle that I was trying to wrestle with was, gosh, I feel like I do want to strangle you, but at the same time, like I shouldn't, because you're doing what we need for the family. And while you're out there having fun, and I'm like, you shouldn't be doing this, at the same time thinking, well, you deserve it too. So that was a wrestling that I was having to work through.
Very interesting.
And so even though I had all these resentment built up, I had to shove that down so that I wouldn't ruin this relationship, so that I wouldn't bring up these problems to create more problems. And then now we're in this rut. And so that was a lot of push and pull happening. But yeah, besides the wanting to strangle you, I think I had some compassion at the same time, some understanding that it is what it is too, that this needs to happen too, where if you don't work, what are we going to do? Got no money.
Right. And so I think no matter what, though, we would always come back to the same fight, which was you don't do enough. I don't do enough.
Always a blame game.
We always come back to literally the same problem that we had. And it was, we just couldn't agree on just about anything. And we would argue about just about anything. It would have been dishes, bottles, washing them, giving the kids a bath, whatever it was. We would punt it off on each other, whatever we could possibly.
Anything, yeah.
And then even at this time, you were drinking all the time. And then I would try to keep up, and then I started to drink too.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started to rely on the substance for us to be able to like kind of dull our problems away and to feel like it was lesser of our problems. And so we literally, to a certain extent, started to give each other an out. Maybe like it's your weekend, you go and you get to go play. And then next weekend, I get to go play. Mm-hmm. And so we started to do this vicious.
I forgot about those nights.
Yeah, we started to do this vicious cycle of, well, you know what? You can have your fun and I'm going to have my own fun. And then we started to create this other world where we both didn't exist in it. And it was what we thought was going to be sufficient to solve our problems. Mm-hmm. We felt like, oh, we don't have enough time for ourselves. Let's make that time. So what do? We would go and create, problems for ourselves in other, circles, whatever you want to call it, because it involved usually substance. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like it was healthy out, doing things. It was mainly just going out there and drinking our feelings away and our resentment away, actually.
Yeah. Bearing the sorrow, bearing the resentment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But then what did it also do? It gave us a reason to not do things the next day.
Yes,
I need time to recover.
Yeah.
I need time to recover. So you got the kids and I'm going to sit around. So there was a selfish part to it where, one, it buried a lot of the problems. And then two, it allowed us to escape, essentially, the responsibilities of what we signed up for in the first place.
I think that was part of a tipping point for both of us, because we got to a point where we no longer cared about each other's agenda. We no longer tried to put our marriage in the right trajectory because you were satisfied with your own needs, I guess, at the time.
Yeah.
I think it barely met the minimum of my needs because, here I have a husband, I have 4 kids, we have a house, we have our cars. Okay, the world thinks that we're happy. That's good enough for me. Our Christmas cards are still going out. Like superficially.
Very pretentious.
Yeah. Like us pretending it had not yet exhausted me, and I was okay with that. That's how bad it was for us to just put up a front and be so superficial. We were okay with that. That was okay.
Yeah.
Like we were literally in hand.
As long as we're still alive.
Probably shaking on it. Like, I mean, if you're okay with it, then I'm okay with it. Sure. Again, and then it wasn't up until around like year 10 where I started to feel like I was getting fueled by relationships outside of our marriage, coworkers, friends outside of our family circle. Where I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out on something. We should probably just call it quits because the pretending is starting to get old, basically. And I actually brought it up to him that I think we should just go our separate ways. It didn't really make sense for us to keep sending out Christmas cards.
It was tiring.
It was so tiring. And trying
we went to freaking
keep it with the freaking Joneses.
No, we went to Sears. Yeah. The folks that live in Minnesota, I remember Sears at Maplewood Mall. Oh my gosh, we went to Sears and we took some Christmas pictures. The worst time ever. Putting on that fake smile, pretending that we like each other.
It was starting to get really exhausting to fake it, right? When they all say fake it till fake it till you make it, or fake it till you break. And it definitely broke.
I think, even at that time, you said you brought it up. I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me that just couldn't bring it up because one, I didn't want to ruin the reputation of us. I didn't want to ruin my image. And two, I thought about the kids too. So there was a mix of things. But when you brought that up, I couldn't have been more relieved that you brought it up. And I was like, wow, like this is actually finally happening. This is actually gonna happen. Like I've been wanting this for so long. And the best part was I get to blame you.
Yeah.
I get to blame you.
And I was, and you know what, y'all? I was
she wanted
give it to me. So give me the blame. I want out.
I didn't care. And I was like, well, at the same time, like I get what I want, but I don't get the image that it was me that was out. So actually,
at that point, I was like, remember, I will be that young.
Yeah, at that time, I just remember feeling
like, I don't care. I'll walk out. I was at that point.
I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's do that. Even though I was trying to like pretend like, you know, I don't want this. I remember that. Inside of me, I was just like, you know what?
Fake.
Go for it. Because when we're done here, all the stories that I would tell people, like, well, Nichi-san, yoki ni mo ne jiati, you know, all the stuff like that, right?
Like he knew how to twist it, how to turn it.
I was happy. I was like, this is exactly what I needed.
I mean, we were already at that point. I was already at that point where I just didn't want to pretend anymore. I know that he didn't, but he wouldn't say it. So I went ahead and said it because it was going to be yet another turn of events. And I was catching myself off guard where I'm like, why are we pretending? This is so ridiculous. And this is so exhausting. And you know, this is at his like 3rd year into his doctoral program. And I even came up with this lavish plan. You guys, I came up with this lavish plan of, I can still support you. You're not working. We can live together. I can pay for this house. I can pay for everything. Let's just not be together, please. Right? That's pretty much what it came down to.
But you know what? As you're saying that, you know, something came to my mind. Because as you're saying that, I do remember at the time too, though. Like I was relieved, right? I was relieved that finally I'm going to get what I want and that I can get rid of this crazy lady out of my life. While I was excited for that, a part of me that stopped me too was like, damn, who's gonna pay for the bills? Like, shoot,
I knew it.
Who's gonna freaking pay for the bills? I looked at all bills. I'm like, we got bills stacked.
He was in school. He was not working
I got
at
no
all.
job.
He was like, wait, hold on.
You know,
hold up. Let me just.
We had a contract. I'm gonna get the schooling done. I ain't working. If you go, who gonna pay? So I'm like, no. We gotta take. We gotta put the brakes here. We gotta figure out what's happening here first.
I was being really considerate. I was being really nice, and I even was like, we can just, you know, co-parent. We can make this work. You know, at this point, why? Why are we killing ourselves over not wanting people to look at us the wrong way or seeing us fail, blah, blah. You know, it came to that point where I'm just like, I don't need to keep working at this at this point. Like, I have no reason to please you. Basically, that's where I came down to.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Did you want to take a pause and check with people?
Yes. Let's check in with people. And I think, you know, the next part of this might get a little dicey. So let's check in with the folks here.
You can check. I think everyone's just kind of listening to the juice and the tea right now.
Where's my mouse? There you go.
Oh, good. Okay, I don't
think I see any questions coming yet. All right, we're good. So we haven't lost anybody yet.
There's no Team Calvin or Team Zong, I promise. But
yeah. No, going back to go back to that comment.
I mean, honestly, if there's anyone that can resonate with some of the things that we've talked about, yeah, go ahead and put in the emoji that best represents how you truly feel right now, you know? Because I know that we're not alone in this kind of journey that we already kind of digressed or digested out here. Right now we're at year 10-ish, 10, and we're just kind of like, okay, all right, let's do this, right? Let's go ahead and call it quits. I'm okay with it. You're okay with it. Hey, this is going to be much easier than I thought it was going to be to separate. You know, we were at that point, and I was actually relieved. I was super relieved.
You know, I talked about the 4 horsemen before of the apocalypse, and you know, as we're talking about this, that's what's coming up to my mind right now. That maybe I'll just digress a little bit and share this part, so the folks who are not familiar with this can understand more about what are some signs and symptoms that is pointing towards divorce, right? So Gottman, a researcher, him and his wife, of course, researched married individuals, committed couples, and they did an extensive study on relationships to see, like, what are some of these things that are creating so many issues within a relationship, within a marriage, and what are some things that are good. And so there are 4 things that underlie a lot of the issues that people are experiencing that would lead to divorce. So the 4 things include, 1 is criticism, the other is defensiveness, stonewalling, and then contempt. So let me just go through these 4 real quick for all of us here. So criticism. We did a great job of that. Well,
oh yeah.
Why don't you ever wash the dishes like this? Or why are you always going out, right?
Anytime that we had a chance, we would criticize each
other. And put down the other person. So that's one of the things. The other piece is defensiveness. So if I were to bring up things like, well, aren't you going to stay home tonight and take care of the kids? Instead of saying, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, let me cancel my plans to stay. I didn't realize that we had so much going on at home. You become defensive instead. Like, well, you went out the other night. Yep. Right? Or you said something to me and I'm like, well, what about you? So we turn the table. We're so defensive. Right. So that's one way. The third one is stonewalling, where we just don't talk at all. We're just silent and we're just roommates who don't talk at all. Yeah. We don't say nothing. We walk around. We pretend like, we're ghosts. Yep. We walk by each other. Like, we joke around this all the time, but I'm trying not to touch you. You're trying not to touch me in the hallway.
Yeah. I try not to be in the kitchen when he's in the kitchen.
I'm in bed. I'm listening. She's out the door. I'm waiting for her to walk away and then I open the door to go down. So there's stonewalling. And then the last one, this is the part that I think this is where we almost called it quits. And the fourth one is contempt. So one of the things that people, or they're paying attention to, the researchers, is when it comes to being contemptuous, you're really just looking at the person as if like you're no good, like you're worthless to me. And so one of the things that they look for is like eye rolls, right? You'll say something to me and I'll be like, oh, roll my eyes, like whatever, like, oh my gosh, like just die already, things like that. So that's actually, out of the four, that is the worst. Contempt is what really kills a marriage and leaves people wondering, should we just call it quits and divorce? Yes. And so we did a whole lot of that.
Eye rollings. I could definitely say that was a turning point for me, especially when you recover from being drunk. And I'm kind of hoping that, you actually crash your car and you don't end up coming back. That's how bad it was. I really, we didn't wish death on each other, but we wished each other to disappear. And if that was because he was fishing and he fell off his boat and, oh no, darn, he didn't make it, I was okay with it. That's how bad it was, where we couldn't even see each other in a human way.
No, not at that time.
Yeah. I think at that time,
it was just, again, looking for a reason for each other to disappear. You're right. I think that was a good way to put it, is that when you said we should go separate ways, I'm like, great. But at the same time, no. And so I need you for some things, and let's finish some things here, and then you can go, right? Let me finish my doctoral degree. Let's pay off these bills, and then, okay, now you can go. So there's so many things that just adds up overall that the D word eventually comes up. And I think at that time we just thought, you know what, maybe divorce is the best decision, because we're killing ourselves. Obviously it's not good for the kids and the family.
Right.
And there's nothing left here for us to salvage. So what's the point of holding on?
Right.
So we're going to wrap it up there. This is part one of the story. And this is how many years? Let's see. We got married in 2007.
This was about 10 years in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and I just want to talk about why we ended up where we were. It was because of the toxic narratives that we had. It definitely was also, it's very common of us, like humans, to be selfish. What's the first thing we do when we wake up? We think about what we're going to eat. What's our day going to be like? In general, we were very selfish beings, and we could not unlearn the life it was before we had kids. To be honest with you, it was so hard to not be that person before having kids. Even though we were 10 years in, I still was the same person that I was before I had kids. I couldn't even change that dynamic for myself, even though I had already given birth to 4 kids, which was, I don't even know how to explain that. I don't know if there's a scientific reasoning behind it, but brain-wise, I yet have not even let go of that cultural part of me, like that culture of going out, being young, being alive and well, being free, being vibrant. I couldn't let that go. And I had a hard time with that. And I felt like then, well, let me look at my life. Let me blame. So I would blame my kids. I would blame him. I would blame the life that I had was number one I wanted. And I started to just place that burden onto you and say that That was part of the reason why I had a lot of pride. Oh, did we have pride?
Say what?
Oh man, if there was a way for you to quantify pride and you can look at it in a jar, there couldn't be anything big enough to fill the amount
see
of
both
pride.
Our faces.
The amount of pride in the ego
you
that
see
we had.
both of our sixth grade, seventh grade pictures.
Like our faces. Yeah.
But you bring up a good point, and let's just go back to what you said, because I think it's important to bring that into the conversation here too. That is, you talked about the past, who we were before we even had kids. We can even go even further back, who we were before we even dated.
We were just buddies.
Even before that, you think about. So this is the part where we mentioned the word trauma earlier. We come into this relationship with baggage.
A lot.
So let's go back to what we talked about when we first opened. True. And I said that talking about this, I feel a little bit apprehensive about it because there's some things that haven't healed. And your statement was, well, it seems like you're coming with baggage. Yes. Because there's some things that I don't think we could ever heal.
I see.
We can never heal from these experiences, meaning that it can never be eradicated to the point where you are not emotionally affected by it.
Can you give more of an example?
So when you think about something in the past that has haunted you, when you think about it, do you just think about it and there's no emotions associated?
No.
Or do you think about it and something's triggered, like you feel a knot in your stomach, or maybe your heart skipped a beat? I'm going to say that the latter is probably more true. When you think of something so traumatic in the past, something is going to be triggered because that trauma is trapped in the body. You hear this all the time. The moment you think about it, that thought, or someone mentions a name or something like that, I'm sure your heart skips a beat or your stomach's in a knot because your body remembers it. So to heal from it, to me, when I said the word heal, you can heal, but there's scar tissue that you can't cover up and say there's nothing there. There's always going to be something there. So going back to what I was saying earlier, we came into our relationship with a lot of baggages.
A lot of brokenness
that we haven't worked through ourselves individually before we even got into a relationship. And as we got to the relationship, maybe we use each other as crutches to try to heal. And then as we're doing that, we're adding more baggage to the baggages.
That's true.
And then getting married, we had things that we've never really aired out. We have a lot of baggages that we never let go. So we bring more of that into it. And then we try to use other things to cover up. So going back to the story of, or the idea of trying to cover up with having kids, you try to have kids to cover up all these baggages, only to add more responsibility, more stress, more problems on top of problems. And so what is the point of me saying this? The point is, at some point, your cup will tip over. It'll fill over. At some point, there's going to be so much under the rug that someone's going to trip over that rug. At some point, that bag that you bring is going to be so filled that it's going to pull you back and you're going to fall back. And so when are you going to actually look at it and air out some of these things? When are you actually going to look under the rug and see what's underneath there and clear it out a little bit? When is it that you can pull some of these things out of the bag to look at, to see what's molding and creating all this pungent smell? And until you do that, you're always going to keep adding to it. And so that is part 2 of this podcast here.
Oh my goodness. I have so many things to say about that. Now that you mentioned about even before we got married, we in ourselves had already so much to unravel and to untether. And we just never did. We went right into dating, went right into being married, being parents. And it really tipped the scale for us.
Well, you think about even within the Hmong culture, right? The Hmong culture, the Hmong community. Growing up, our parents, they don't talk about emotions. They don't talk about these things. Whenever there are problems, people usually put it on the rug, or they talk about these issues behind closed doors. And so even that, I think that's while that's great in and of itself, there's not much of a modeling for us to even experience or to see. And so we never learn how to navigate these challenging conversations or
very true,
resolve conflicts that we have. And so we come into it not knowing how to do that. So what do? We pretend like things don't exist either.
Or drink
in a way.
Yeah.
And
find ways tangible ways.
Yeah. Yep. So then you add more to it. And then of course the tipping point is
divorce.
Divorce.
Right.
Yeah. You're done.
Ooh, so, I can't wait for us to talk about that.
So that's it for part 1 here. Why did we end up wanting a divorce? Well, those are the reasons. Of course, there's so many more layers that we haven't gone into, but I think these are the main layers that really led us down this path. But I'm sure as we talk more into how do we reconcile, how do we bring ourselves back into the marriage, why did we decide to stay instead of divorce, that might bring up more things. And then also talk more about like what kept us in check, what allowed us to move forward too.
Absolutely. But man, the more that I think about it, about how, terrible we were to each other.
Terrible?
Oh my goodness.
That's an understatement.
There would never be enough time for us to talk about all the bad things that we did to each other and how mean we were to each other. Like I wanted to light his boat on fire. Like that's how mad I was at him when he wanted to go fishing instead of being with me and the kids. And I think our baby was still very young. And he's like, oh yeah, well, the baby's so young. So you don't really need, me to be home all the time. And he'll go at obviously the break of dawn when the baby actually wakes up.
The worst time, right?
And I was like, I'm about to light up that boat.
Yeah. I didn't wish death on you, but I just hope that plane didn't land. Like, oops.
If you could just not land. Oh my goodness.
That plane would have just,
Oh, man. Yeah. Lord knows. Thoughts. Oh my goodness.
Horrible thoughts.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Let's see if there's any questions. If there are no questions, then we're going to start
There's definitely
wrap things up.
Some fun comments in there. If you wanted to highlight that, we can, and then we can wrap it up.
We have one comment here from Becky Yang Mo. Drinking was definitely one of my mechanisms to avoid my marital issues as well. But as you guys said, it became more of drinking to relieve what I was experiencing in my marriage.
Yep.
And that turned me into a toxic person, to the crowds I was around and wasn't fair to them. Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think, well, if you just think about drinking itself, it's fun because you're disinhibited, right? You shut down your executive functioning. And so now all the things that you want to do, suddenly they come out. That's why people are belligerent. People are loud. People do crazy things that they would later regret because you're free. And so you would do that. But the part that comes out too, and to your point is, you become a toxic person because all these intrusive thoughts we're talking about here, all the things you might want to say to another person, they come out. Those are disinhibited too. So they find their way out.
Right. And, when you say unfair to people, I mean, we were unfair to our kids.
Oh, yeah.
When we think about, I guess just being absent, not being present for our kids, even though they were very young, they didn't really understand it. You as a parent, you really, truly do understand what you put them through, technically, and then what you put yourself through because you missed out on so much as well. And so I can definitely relate to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Well, that's it for tonight, folks. I think hopefully that wasn't too much of a whirlwind for all of you.
Oh my goodness. I'm still thinking about how mean we were to each other. It just makes me laugh.
It's horrible.
It makes us laugh people. Now that we think about how mean and how terrible we were to each other. How evil humans can be.
But hopefully, it's hard to say this now, but hopefully this does give you hope for the people who are going through this process, knowing that
we could look back and laugh at it.
Yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that there is an alternative and that there is hope in this process. You might be in the thick of the storm, but even just having an umbrella in that downpour, that small little moment of peace with that umbrella, that is the hope that we're talking about here. So hopefully in part 2 of this this new topic that we're talking about here, it does give you hope that we share more about what did we do? How the heck did we get out of this place?
How did we turn around this ship? Yes.
But hopefully that does give you hope, and hopefully
you stop saying hopefully.
That's all I'm thinking about is hope, because in this moment, I do remember when we were in that moment, I'm like, man, how do we get out of it? And it was hope. I want to end on that note.
Yeah, I mean, we can't wait to share with you guys all, because now we're going on 19 years. And it's really hard to say that, because I didn't even think that we're going to make it past the year 10.
No. You know, they call it a 7-year itch. And that is when you get to 7 years, you want to call it quits.
Mm-hmm.
When we got past that, we got to 10, we almost called it quits again. But it's that resilience, and that needs to exist in a marriage in order for it to work. So
yeah, well, we can't wait to share with you guys all.
Yeah. Well, thank you folks for tuning in. Until next time, take care, be well.
Have a good night.
All right, peace out.